Hello everybody, welcome to the stream, welcome to the workout. 2 hours VO2max workout. Here we go. Hello everybody, welcome to the workout stream. How are you doing on this Saturday? Doing this workout on the Tour Fire and Ice route, which means we have the added motivation of doing the intervals up Alpe du Zwift, which is always a nice bonus. Unless of course I'm on my recovery interval and then I'll be doing 3 kilometers an hour. So following on from the effort we did on Thursday night, which was of course the 16-kilometer time trial race, where I averaged just under 380 watts for just over 20 minutes. Today's the first workout of this 40-day period. And yesterday I just did 90 minutes of easy, steady riding. The way this week has gone, I did 2 long rides during the week. Tuesday and Wednesday I did 2 3.5 4 hour rides. Whereas the following weeks I won't be doing that. I'm going to be changing the structure a little bit of the week. So today is going to be the last ride of the week. Although I will try and ride tomorrow, but that will only be a 1 hour ride maybe, if I'm lucky. So today is really the only ride that counts now, this weekend, before we get into the new week. That's also a good tip for trying to win bike races as well. Never forget that one. You just got to want it more. It's as simple as that. You just got to want it more. Looks like I'm running. Well, it's a similar kind of motion, I suppose. So I'm live streaming this workout and potentially other workouts as well in the next couple of weeks. For a bit of accountability, of course. Also maybe just to maybe demonstrate some different sessions, maybe some you've never tried before. Maybe you're also riding at the same time and it's nice to have something else on in the background. And also to try and document the process a little bit. Because when we get to the end of this and we end up doing 400 watts for 20 minutes, I don't want people asking me how I did it. When it'll all be there. Online. Just kidding. Hey, Josh. Yes, Rigas. What am I least looking forward to? I'm least looking forward to the last 5 repetitions of the 30-15s. Because you basically have to ride them to feel. Or as we used to say, you have to ride them to capacity. So capacity would be sort of slang for as hard as sustainably as possible without blowing up, and being able to do that time and time again. So the 430 watts is more a target. I'm not using erg mode for the reason that I need to basically be in charge of how hard I go, how much power I produce. Power production in these is somewhat irrelevant because you just need to go flipping hard. Like, it's not complicated really. You know, the power target is just a power target, just so that you've got something to follow in the workout. But in terms of targets, it's just got to feel pretty flipping hard, to the point where I'm, you know, gasping for breath. That's when you know you're doing it right, really. This is the type of workout where you're kind of in charge of the suffering, and you really can suffer hard in this kind of workout. This is a workout that I made. This is custom. This is a custom workout that I made, personalized to me. The 15 seconds off is definitely, no, it's not complete rest. I mean, the power is still relatively low, but by the time you get to like those last 5, it all blurs into one. So you're just hanging on by that point anyway. So if the power drops, the power drops, but it's again very much just targets. You'll soon see when we get into it. So for a workout, sometimes I use erg mode, which obviously means training difficulty is irrelevant, but my training difficulty is usually set to like 0 or very low when I do workouts, just so that I can focus more on what I'm doing rather than adjusting the gears that I'm in. Obviously, I'm a very seasoned rider and I can adjust. When I'm out on the road, I can keep power extremely steady even on undulating terrain. But when I'm indoors, it's a different thing altogether because it's virtual, so it's not like real life feedback. So outdoors, I can control it, but indoors, I prefer just to utilize the benefit of, you know, that training difficulty slider. Yeah, I'm not using erg mode because I want to be in control of the intensity myself. When we get to the over and unders, no athlete is the same, so it's all about feel. So I need to push as hard as I feel I can physically cope with for the 30 seconds, recover, do it again, and if it drops slightly, it drops slightly, but whatever it takes really to keep heart rate pinned, but also it needs to be repeatable. Having erg mode on sort of confines you to that power, but it's not necessarily high enough, or maybe it's too high for you or for me doing this workout. So 430 today might be too high, but might be too low, you know, so that's why erg mode off is advantageous in this situation for me. You might see what I mean when we get into it. Yeah, I'm doing a couple of gravel events this year, yeah. First one is the Dirty Reaver. I'm doing the Gralloch again. Hey, Crank. Good evening. This is the easy bit. You dirty Reaver. Ah, cool stuff. I'm looking forward to Dirty Reaver being obviously a much longer event than the Gralloch UCI race. Should suit me a little bit better. That longer time in the saddle. Oh yeah, you can't see the whole workout, can you? Good point. No, I'm not going for the 20 minute at 400 watts. No, it's just a workout. Hard start 30-15s. So in a moment we get into a 3-minute hard start. That'll raise oxygen consumption. Obviously raise heart rate. You know, that's just a scientific term. So it'll raise everything essentially. Short bit of recovery and then into over-unders. Over-unders will obviously Try and keep that. We'll be flossing around that area. And we'll repeat that 3 times. Doing it on the Alp for a little bit extra motivation. Looks tasty, thank you, I'll try and enjoy. I don't think I will. 4 minutes of recovery between each is hardly anything. But there we go. Yeah, good question, Miles. I mean, to a certain extent, yes, I have considered it. If I can only string some consistent gym sessions together throughout the winter and throughout the season, I would give it a far better amount of consideration. But that consistency has escaped me. No, I'd say erg mode, you know, still 95% of the time erg mode. Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with it. I mean, it does get some hate, but, you know, at the end of the day as well, it's also some preference. But, it's, for a session like this, it's something I want to try to control myself. No, oh yes, he obviously ate more. 100%, you would have been in a calorie surplus. 100%. No, both in and out the saddle. Whatever's necessary. Oh, that's a good question, James. Very good question. Ah. Yeah, the warm-up is the second one as well. The real workout begins on that last one. Oh. Alright, it's a pretty short recovery block here. That is on purpose to really keep me working at quite a high fraction of VO2max. Make sure it doesn't drop too much. If it drops too much, that's all we're doing in the second set is just trying to rebuild it again. We want it to be still somewhat elevated when we start the second set. And this is where this is not an ego workout. If your power starts dropping, but you're still doing damage, you're still actually obviously stimulating the right thing. So it's a no ego workout. If the power drops, you've almost just still got to plug away at it. That's the whole point in this particular session, to try and keep it working at quite a high fraction, high percentage of VO2max. It's real bang for buck, but it's very hard. But I don't need to tell you that. Most of you have already tried sessions like this in some way, shape or form, I imagine. 30-15s, 40-20s, you know, Lots of variations, of course. Oh. Yeah, the ringer is similar, but again, there's a lot of recovery between each. Is it not 5 minute work, 5 minute rest? That's a lot of recovery. But it's still a very similar worker. Okay. A bit of Tech 9 this time. Alright, here we go. And that's the idea with a hard start effort. Really drives it up. My heart rate drops so fast. Even surprises me. Crikey. No words. I told you the last 5 reps of that, I've just basically holding on. Oh. Oh. But you could see from that 3-minute effort to begin the block, my heart rate now is rising much faster, and it hit like 171, and then obviously the 40-second recovery before the 30-15s, I recovered quite quickly, relatively speaking. Like the heart rate dropped, but that doesn't directly sort of correlate to what I'm feeling in terms of RPE. Like RPE is still really high for the 40 seconds because obviously at this point in the workout lactate levels have been building, and my body's still working at a relatively high level of my VO2max, and that's where the key really in this particular workout, having the recovery so short, is it's basically stopping me from, you know, getting enough oxygen in and bringing that down and recovering more. But this last block now is going to be very hard. Like in terms of RP, rate of perceived exertion, that stands for. It's a very old school method of training, but yeah, rate of perceived effort, rate of perceived exertion. But it still very much applies to modern training methods. But yeah, it's hurting now, you know, it's hurting now. I think that's enough descending, to be honest. We won't run out of hill. Oh. Well, I don't want to run out of climb, in all honesty. I don't want to run out of climb and then have to turn around and do the effort on the descent. Oh, now you can see my heart rate's still high even for such a low relative effort. Alright, last one. Let's just see what I got. See what I got. Got this far. We've got this far. Let's just dig in, see what happens. I might have to stand up a little bit more in this one, just to get on top of it. Alright, here we go. Let's get it. Nine to go. Ah. Let's go. Let's go. Ah. 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 Oh. Going all out a little bit there on that last one means that I get a little bit of a gauge of where my max capacity heart rate is for this workout, and it wasn't that much higher than what we were actually fluctuating at, so that's a good sign we were pretty close. Pretty close. Oh. I have to start the workout again. Oh. Hey, thank you everybody for tuning in and supporting. If any of you else are live streaming, if you fancy live streaming, giving it a go. It's well worth the effort just for having a little bit of motivation from you guys. So even just a couple of people gives you that motivation. So I will extend my gratitude for gracing me with your presence this afternoon. I appreciate it, I really do. Oh. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit unwell now, which is no surprise really. Let's have a look at the graph. Oh, do. Where's my mouse? Let's have a look at this graph. Oh, hey, that's kind of pretty. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice and pretty? Oh. 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 Oh, geez. I think I'm gonna need this extended cool down, I'm not gonna lie. It's going to take a while for everything just to fall back in line and feel relatively normal. This is a good example now, when you finish a workout like this, or any workout really, it's a good example of how like your body doesn't just like flick a switch between like, you know, I just finished those efforts and now I'm like riding like 100 watts and oh, you know, everything's good, like I'm super like everything's back to normal. But you know, you'd be forgiven for thinking that maybe, but your body takes a while to come back down to sort of, you know, that gradual state of, well, quite frankly, you know, much lower lactate level. I'm not testing, but lactate levels are going to be pretty high right now. So so obviously it's going to take at least, I would say arguably, this whole 45-minute sort of cool down for everything to kind of, you know, gradually come back to potentially pre-workout level. Although it might not, it might take even longer than that, but that's generally the idea. I need to dry my headphones. Have I heard about Exert? Yes, I have. Yes. I've never used it personally. Do I think Zwift is better for lightweight riders or heavier riders? Well, can't really answer that, to be honest. Generally, I don't think that's the way to look at it. I think it's more suited to more powerful riders, so riders with more watts. How long would I cool down on a long zone 2 ride? I wouldn't do a cool down on a zone 2 ride. I might do a small warm up, 5 or 10 minutes, before I settle into something I want to sustain. You know, for the duration. Oh my word. Oh. Nice one, Chris. That's good to hear, buddy. Do I adjust my power target indoors versus outdoors? I gotta be honest, I don't. I personally don't. For starters, my indoor power is very similar to outdoor power, unless it's very hot in here, obviously, because heat has an impact on performance. But generally speaking, they're quite close, and or rather they're close enough that I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. Now I do know people, and I also coach people as well, who have a big difference between indoor and out. It could be 20 watts, which is a relatively large gap, and so there is a little bit more thought that goes into indoor workouts rather than outdoor. And I say indoor rather than outdoor because outdoor generally things are hard to control anyway when you're outdoors, unless you're an absolute legend of the game and you can control your power to within 5 watts of what it needs to be, which takes a lot of practice and a perfect road. Then I wouldn't worry about it too much. But indoors certainly is where I think you just need to have a bit of caution, because obviously with erg mode you can just lock in, and that's one of the problems with erg mode, is that when it's locked in there's no margin for error, and it's one of the downsides to training indoors. And it's not a major downside at all really. It's just obviously if you're on a bad day, or if you're underfueled or underhydrated or anything, then that can have an impact. And so when you're doing it indoors, you do have to be a little bit more wary of that. I have been watching it, Chris. The last couple of nights, so I haven't seen it. Oh, what are we going to have on the wheel? What are we going to have on the wheel? Reels! Ooh! I've already got them anyway, so sad times. What discipline was that Hodgkinson 800 meters? What sport was it? Sorry if I missed it in the chat. How many hours a week do I do? I would say on average, the last 2 months or so, it's been about, on average, about 15 hours. Yeah, wind plays a massive role in outdoor intervals, 100%. 100%. I think for me, headwinds are actually harder, Regis. Like tailwinds, I almost feel like, as long as the tailwind's not crazy, It actually makes me feel smoother. But a headwind, it adds that extra resistance that sometimes makes you more ragged. I don't know if you find that. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, that's a good workout too. The 30-15s, but obviously doing slightly less power on the 30s, slightly more power on the 15s. It's one athlete that I've seen do those quite a lot is Sivakov. You know, the UAE rider. You know, Sivakov does those kind of 10-minute blocks where he does the 30 seconds are still flipping hard, you know, relatively speaking, but the 15 seconds is still like 80%, 75% of FTP, which is quite hard. Oh wow, okay. I shall take a look at that, Chris. Yeah, headwinds are climbs, yeah. Also, as well, I think a tailwind, if you end up going faster than the wind is obviously pushing you, then it has the effect of there not being any wind, right? Is that how it works? Oh, I feel like I'm full of wind now. That's a little bit uncomfortable. Oh. Hey, thank you. Yeah. If you hadn't seen my recent YouTube video that I uploaded, where a rather silly title, can the Scott Addict Ultimate handle, you know, 7 watt per kilogram climb? I mean, obviously, of course it can, and it's all relative anyway. I mean, it was more just to get people to click, you know what I mean? But you know, if I'd have said 400 watts or 420 watts, you know, people might have thought, oh, he's only done it for 1 minute, so I won't click on it. But I don't know, if you say 7 watts per kilo, I feel like there's a bit more weight to it. Anyway, yeah, I feel like there's definitely some form coming. Yeah, I feel like there's some form coming. Try to reverse it. Just gonna freewheel for a second. I'll basically be pedaling for an hour and a half. That's one thing, even after all these years of riding indoors. That's one thing you forget about. Is the difference when you ride outdoors, you do actually get a chance to freewheel every now and then. Oh. Could turn that fan down a bit as well. Oh. Be interesting to see at the end of this workout what the what my sweat or my sweat rate has been like. You're sort of cool down. Oh. I can feel, you know you've worked hard, and you've had like a super high heart rate for, prolonged period of time. You can just feel, the chest, the airways. You can feel everything's had a good clear out. You're still breathing fairly frequently. Look, my heart rate's still at 100 beats a minute. Sometimes, you put into perspective what we do as cyclists against, the average population. Who maybe don't exercise, who their exercise is maybe going up some stairs when they get to work, and they get out of breath when they get to the top of the stairs. And for a lot of people, that's generally, genuinely hard work. And their heart rate goes up, and they can feel their heart beating in their chest. And it puts into perspective what we do when we ride our bikes and we cycle. It's nuts, really. And it's not just cyclists, of course, but just that level of heart rate, that level of exertion. Oh, hold up. 800 meter record, Chris, has just been recommended to me on YouTube. I'm going to watch that now. $800 meter athletics is absolutely, it's a diabolical effort, isn't it? Like that kind of length of effort, 2 minutes. It's incredible amount of absolutely ripping. Oh, they got those lights on the inside as well of the track. Crazy. Yeah, lactic alley, yeah. I'd be on the floor after an effort like that. What's my peak heart rate? My peak heart rate, it's around about 180, roughly. You know, it changes day to day, doesn't it, really? It changes week to week. You know, how fresh you are, how tired you are, etc. All has an impact. But around about 180. Thanks for the heads up, Chris. I'll check her out on Instagram. Must be an interesting person to follow. Wow, 210. Obviously, it goes without saying, the younger you are, generally the higher your max heart rate. But also, yeah, it's not uncommon to see people with high heart rates, or even high sort of lactate threshold heart rates either. It's all relative. It's hard. Heart rate is one of those things that you should never really compare from person to person, or even day to day. Wow, 1983. Wow. Well, this is quite satisfying that we've managed to do the Alp and heading back into downtown Watopia. I'm not gonna lie though, my legs are a bit... I'll tell you what guys, the 1980s, 1990s, in any kind of sport, must have been wild. You know, with all the stuff we hear about and it's come out now. Pretty credible. If you hang around till the end of this workout, I'll show you this absolute monstrosity of a pancake stack that I ate a couple of hours ago, because it is my wife's birthday today, Yeah, so, she has allowed me to get this workout in, so she is the MVP today. Shout out to Charlie. If anything, she actually told me, get on the bike. I don't want you taking up sofa space. She wants to sit there and read a book. She said, get out the sofa and get on the bike. So that is why I'm here. But no, she was. She went out. We went out for food. And yeah, this pancake I gotta show you. It's actually making me feel a little bit sick thinking about it, because it was extremely sweet. Thank you. I will wish a happy birthday from you lot. Oh, Ronnie Coleman, what an absolute unit! What an absolute unit. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, some of the documentaries and stuff that have come out. It's amazing. Not necessarily in a good way, of course, but... Oh, you love it, Robin. You'll approve. You will approve. Or at least I hope you will. It's no macaroni, but you know, it's the next best thing. I think pancakes. But you got 16 minutes to wait. So I'll show you. I think I've just about digested it in time before this workout, because I was a little bit worried, I'm not going to lie. You know, there's a part of me that was like, you know, this is a really good fuel for the workout. Flipping really high in sugar, and also you know, high in carbs, also high in fat as well, I'm not going to lie. But then I was like, if I eat it far enough in advance, hopefully I'll be okay. And I think I've just about got away with it. What? Chris? What? Fair play. Do any of you guys have you ever heard? Have you ever heard of the YouTube channel Total Running Productions? If you haven't, I would check it out. 800,000 subscribers. Does breakdowns of like running races, basically like the Lantern Rouge, but in running. So if you haven't heard of that. If you haven't heard of that YouTube channel, I would check it out. If you're a fan of Lantern Rouge, I would check out that channel. I'm just watching that video actually. Total Running Productions made a video of Keely's record now. Oh, 1,000 watts! I think I'm still yet to hit 1,000 watts on Zwift. $155.82. Yeah, no, I feel you. 1 second, not 5 seconds. I feel you. I've been there. That's pretty nuts that Keely was born on the exact same day that the world record was set. That's mad. Oh, wow. Sorry, I've only just seen that. 1,000 watts, that's 20 watts per kilo. Wow. It's funny how YouTube works, Chris. Because, like, obviously I'm a fan of Total Running Production, the YouTube channel. But I haven't watched the channel. I'm subscribed, but I haven't seen any videos from the channel or watched the channel in months. And, like, you mentioning the record today, now, me just re-jogging my memory of that YouTube channel has made me go back and watch their videos. And yet, it's funny how YouTube works. You know, it doesn't push me the videos, even though I'm subscribed. You know, and it doesn't come to my attention until something like this happens. So, it's crazy. Nearly there, 9 minutes to go. I better record something for my YouTube video. That'll do. Ran to Japan? No, I don't think I have. Is that exactly what it says on the tin? Someone's run to Japan? or running to Japan. Oh. Let me check it out. Ran to Japan. If there's one thing that the scientific evidence just never sort of argues against, it's just high mileage, isn't it? High volume. It's essentially, doesn't matter if you look at running or cycling, like the evidence just clearly suggests that in order to get to the very top of the sport, it's not necessarily the intensity that, you know, is the limiter. It's basically how much volume can you handle. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to subscribe. Ran to Japan. Ooh. This doping epidemic is killing our sport. That's an interesting video. Oh, I like the thumbnails. Thumbnails are really eye-catching. That's cool. I like that channel. I like that. It's very clean. I need to update some things on my channel, I must admit. Philly Bowden. Ooh. Thank you for the suggestions. Philly cheesecake. British long distance runner. I think I've seen it before. Oh, nice. Interesting. Hey Niall, how you doing, man? How did it go? It went well. It went well. Yes, you can't see all the gold stars on the... I think my webcam is blocking it, but yes, it went well. Just about to wrap it up. I'm going to show everybody my pancakes that I had a couple of hours ago now. When the clock strikes 0. I have to admit, like doing 45 minutes of just steady riding now has made me feel miles better. Now, it's not necessary. You know, you could just end the session after a 10-minute cooldown. But the way I felt after 5 or 10 minutes of riding after the last interval set, I felt horrible. So I actually feel way better now. And I planned on doing 2 hours, so just making it up with some low heart rate pedaling has actually really helped, so that is good. No, so I'm going to race. I have to go somewhere Monday, so hopefully I'll be back in time to do Zwift games Monday night. But I have to drive back from Oxford on Monday. So we'll see, but I'm still going to be racing the Zwift games each week, once a week for the next couple of weeks, of course. But the real benefit's going to come from training, not necessarily from racing, because that's how you can target these things. So I'm going to lock in with the workouts, and just going to train. Just going to race the Zwift games once a week, so yeah. I'm obviously going to be making some YouTube videos as well. The first one will be coming, in the next couple of days, where I kind of announce loosely my plans for this 400 watt adventure. So stay tuned for that, but I'll be doing a video once or twice a week for the next couple of weeks. Just keeping you in the loop. Alright, there's the workout, folks. Look at that. So, as we can see, getting up to 165 beats a minute, and then heart rate gradually rising or dropping, heart rate gradually rising. So that was a good workout. Very painful, not gonna lie, very painful. Whoa. Boy, oh boy. So, sorry, couldn't you hear me there, could you? So, I was doing about 400 to 410 watts for the 3-minute blocks, 40 seconds rest, and then for the over and unders, the 30-15s, we were around about 430-ish, maybe 420 watts. And then obviously 15 seconds of rest and going again. So for the 11-minute work periods, there are roughly about 11 minutes because that's where we see the drop off there. We were around about FTP in terms of that intensity for that period, but obviously going over and under and significantly over for the first 3 minutes. The normalized power is going to be different, but again, the power is kind of just used as a bit of a something to just evaluate and look back on. It's not necessarily something that you use to guide the workout. You can still use it somewhat as a pacing tool, but if anything, like I said at the start of the ride, and that's why I wasn't using erg mode, I was just trying to get a gauge for how hard I could really go and use rate of perceived exertion, RPE, to gauge the intensity. So the intensity is what really matters, and obviously pushing and feeling how hard that feels is the number one priority. And how we now use power is, well, over the coming weeks, maybe I revisit a workout like this, although it was hard, so revisiting it is like I need to motivate myself to do it again, of course. But if we implement the same thing and we don't make power rigid, target at least, we might see a measured improvement in power without actually trying to focus on it. So that's how we can measure improvements necessarily. But we done here. Oh, jeez. Let me just get one more shot of it. So, Instagram knows what's up. Happy days. All right, tidy. Just rename this workout because Zwift is gonna absolutely butcher it. Get rid of that. Happy days. Well, thanks for joining the workout, everybody. I really appreciate it. It's first one in the books, technically. I'm happy to have completed it. And if it gave you any ideas of workouts to maybe avoid, then that's good. But yeah, there we go. Until next time, I will hopefully see you Monday night for the Zwift games, if I'm back in time. I hope I'm back in time. So I will see you then. Enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.